In this episode of Sailing Dark Angel, I dive the anchor while Dave dives into taxes. Our snorkel plans at Queen's Key gets blown off course by weather, but a mysterious shoreline cave keeps things interesting. After a detour through Stalking Island shallows, it's finally time to swap out our tired AGMs for shiny new lithiums, just in time for another storm. Was all the prep worth it? If you like our videos, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. It's free for you and really helps our channel. What do you do today, Captain Dave?
Taxes.
Oh, but it's the Bahamas, but it's taxes. But it's the Bahamas, but it's taxes. We're way far in, right next to a sandbar, which is right here. You hear the music almost from here. Yeah, I got to get in there, and we're pulled way in, which is really nice because we got about 6 feet underneath us. I even got my paddle board out, so after I do a little scraping, I'm gonna treat myself with a little paddle boarding. So there's always something to do on a boat. So I got to go check the anchor now. Look at the fuzzies. I'm going to scrape that now, so you have to excuse me.
We're going to go snorkeling here on a little reef. But in the meantime, it's kind of raining a little bit. We thought we'd just come over here and see what this is. I don't remember seeing this ever before. And it kind of looks like it could fall down any minute, doesn't it?
Any second. It's got a crack in it and everything.
Cracked right here. If I push on that, it's going to fall down. But how cool is this? There was a sign. I don't know what it says, but it's probably no trespassing. But they're building a resort on this island. We're not going above the high water mark anyway. Not interested. We're interested in being in the water today. But
Did you tell them where we are?
we got a rain cloud. Is this Queen's Island? I think this is Queen's Key or Queen Key or something like that. We're just a little north of Foul Key. There's a little reef here that we want to dive. And while we wait for the sun to come out,
Cheers.
gotta stay hydrated.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, I think we're gonna have to take a rain check on the snorkeling because
It's gotten worse.
it's raining, which not a big deal. We're gonna be underwater anyway. The problem is when it's raining is you got cloud cover, and when you got cloud cover, you don't have good visibility underwater. And if we don't have good visibility underwater, you're not gonna see what we're trying to show you. So we're gonna explore around a little bit, find something else to do.
What are we doing now, Captain Dave?
Exploring the shallow parts of life.
And why are we exploring the shallow parts of life?
Because it's raining.
No
good for snorkeling.
We're getting there. We're getting there. It's a little shallow, but we're getting there.
This wasn't supposed to be hiking and beaches and stuff, so we didn't bring chairs or umbrellas or anything. We just brought alcohol and snorkel gear and us.
I'm waiting for the clouds to pass because I am solar powered. This is not solar.
So we came in through this extremely shallow creek and zigged and zagged a little bit. Now I know we can get out over that pass over there to go to the outside, but you got to do it at high tide, and this is not high tide by a long shot. The art trail comes out right over here somewhere. We've hiked over to that beach before, but we don't have the sand shoes and stuff to do that. Even when it's miserable here, it's beautiful.
Yeah, but if the sun were beaten down, we'd be playing in here. This is a really nice little area. So, what are we doing today, Captain Dave?
We are going to remove our very used Master Volt batteries
And why are we doing that?
because they're used to the point where they're useless. And we got a couple of lithium batteries from a friend of ours who had 2 spares. He bought 6 of the eco-worthies, and apparently you can only charge 4. I read it right on their website. So he has 2 extras, and we're going to try to hook them up. The problem is our battery bank, our battery box, is a nightmare of just spaghetti. And I've been making do with it because we've been, using AGM batteries, mostly used, mostly donated. And when you have 0 budget, you use what's donated. And now it just needs to be redone because you cannot just haphazardly hook up lithium batteries. It'll destroy the batteries.
So tell us what we have.
So currently we have 5 Master Volt 160 amp hour 4D batteries. Mm-hmm. And that would technically be, it's 160 times 4, 800 amp hours of power, which is essentially 0 right now. So we're putting in these 2 150 amp hour eco-worthy batteries. And that's going to give us 300 amp hours of lithium, which is far more than 300 usable amp hours of AGM, because lithiums draw down further. They also charge easier. They're a much better battery technology, but you also have to install them properly, and that's going to be the hard part.
So are these batteries, they're close to new, aren't they?
Yeah, I think he bought them in November and didn't really use them because they wouldn't charge properly. So he talked to the manufacturer about why, and the manufacturer informed him that you can only have 4, not 6. So he took them out of his battery bank. They've been charged, and apparently they work. I'm gonna put a meter on them in a minute. I did load test them yesterday, and they passed the load test flying colors. I'm gonna put a meter on them and see just how close they are in voltage, because they have to be the same, and then we hook them up.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So let's get at it.
I don't wanna.
So what are you doing right now?
Okay, so I just want to test the batteries. They've got to be an equal charge. In order for them to be hooked up and charged properly, they have to start out equal. So just a simple test. This one is 13.25 volts. This one is 13.26. They're within 0.01 volts.
So they are even.
And these are good because he charged them and tested them before.
That's awesome.
Before he gave them to us.
And his name is Dave. So thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
And then thanks, Captain Dave. Okay. If you have a boat, it's mandatory to get yourself a Captain Dave, because Dave, from being a captain on the other boat of an Island Spirit, he's the one that got these batteries all set up for us, got an equal charge on them. And now, of course, my Captain Dave is installing them now.
Well, Lisa cleaned out this battery box before we put these batteries in, and I got this line of whatever that is, and it's up the side of one of the batteries. So I don't know if that's something coming in from underneath where that hole is, or if it was the batteries. I've also got some buildup over here. So were the batteries being overcharged? Was there an issue with heat? I don't know. Now what I've got over here is an issue. We've got 2 power cables coming off of these fuses to the batteries. We've got this one coming from the switch to the batteries, and we've got this one that went from the junction box to the batteries. They should all go to the same place, and in theory they should all be switched. So I've got to investigate what all those are and where they go before I put the new batteries in, because there should only be one battery feed positive and one battery feed negative, and there is only one negative.
I always feel like I'm filming your ass. No, anyway, you ass. So so what are we doing now, Captain Dave?
Stinking mostly.
You. Good
shower.
thing we don't have smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had the before with these
Those guys
big
are
batteries. They're outside just sitting there looking stupid. And then now we have
So I've gathered all
these
the
two
different
batteries.
I've gathered all the different positive terminations to one point and connected to the batteries just from that one point. Negative only had one point, which is weird. So they're hooked up in 12 volts, and so far everything seems to be working good. So I've just finished strapping everything down and cleaning up the spaghetti a little bit, and we should be good.
Just 2 batteries in this great big battery bank.
The solar controllers all 4 solar controllers have been reprogrammed. Now I've got to reprogram the charger inverter, the Magnum.
Which are, just let me walk you over here. So we got power coming in, yay! And you know why I find that incredibly helpful? The Dometic freezer.
Everything we own for food.
The Dometic freezer.
So that's it. Now we just gotta clean up our mess and hope for the best.
It's a Sunday, everybody's out playing, but nope,
Not us.
not us. We're just in here working away, and I'm being a good helper, and I know my face is burnt, but you know, that's the price I pay. So what's happening now, Captain Dave?
Well, we just got word from a friend of ours to poke our heads out, and we are preparing for ugly. That's a squall coming in, and it's not a pretty one. So we've got the beanbag chairs back here. Hopefully our anchor's dug in well, and that's not a pretty squall. There's no wind right now, but that doesn't mean anything. When the wind hits, the squall will hit hard and push the boat. We did put out a little bit of extra chain when we anchored. We should be good. Just debating starting the engines. Power's off to most things. Still got the power onto the internet right now, but I might shut that off too during the squall. And put it back on after. Radio's on. Our handheld doesn't hold a charge, so we don't have the handheld radio on, which would have been ideal. But
I'll put this beanbag chair on top.
Generator's gassed up.
Where do you go? Oh, this beanbag. What was that?
Lightning.
I'm getting eaten alive by
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes out here. All right, so there's no wind yet, and that's what's got everybody kind of freaked out. There's only 7 knots, but that is a real ugly sky. So when the wind hits, it's going to whip us around really hard. You can see rain here, we can see rain over here, and we've got some lightning. So we're not doing anything right now. I've got almost everything shut off that I can. And I've got the engines on in case we get whipped really hard, because it's very shallow here and I don't want to get pulled into the shallows. So we're all here in the same boat, all in different boats. So the sky doesn't look too bad over there, but man, this darkness over here sucks. So we wait. It's about 4 miles out. To save us from being night blind, we've turned on the red light, and then I can go back and forth outside without losing my night vision. Shut off that center light, and if I could use our handheld I would, but it won't charge. I have cleaned the contacts 100 times. It might be time for a new battery, which costs almost as much as the radio. I can't really stay outside here very much because the mosquitoes are swarming really bad.
Rain is starting just a little bit.
And here we...
And hopefully the mosquitoes go away faster.
Hopefully. A little bit of rain. Our water catchments are open. Hopefully this blows by us. It might.
Lovely.
It might.
Does that look mighty ugly?
Because it looks like it's more over the island.
I hope so.
But I got a feeling we're going to get hit with some wicked wind here real quick. So this boat just came in a little while ago. This boat here just came in a little while ago. Cal moved in shallower. We moved in shallower. There's some boats way out in the middle. Wouldn't it be great if this was a big old nothing? All right, we've got mostly everything shut down now, including our internet. The only thing on is the radio, and we can't shut off our wind indicator, so that's on. Everything else is pretty much unplugged, I think. The rain started, the winds have only picked up to 16, 17. That's not too bad. It's the lightning we're more worried about right now. That's why I've got everything pretty much shut off. So far, no big deal. Let's hope for the best. Saw a whole 15 knots at one point. Not a whole bunch. There was some lightning, but it was mostly sheet lightning. I didn't see any strikes. And I'm looking at radar now, and it looks like it's pretty much moved off of us. So there's nothing really organized anywhere near us. This is a little bit organized here and here, but they're way off. That's 12 miles off. See, this is land, so not a big deal. So we're gonna boot everything back up. Breathe a sigh of relief.
So here I am out in the paddleboard all by myself. Shh. Got to get off the boat sometime. Of course, Dave is in there and he's working. So I just took the chance and got out of the boat, off paddleboarding by myself. A few minutes ago, there was a shark that swam by the boat, and I don't think it was a nurse shark. So I'm going to go check it out, chase it, whatever you want to call it. Some of the things I just love doing is going along the shoreline and just seeing what I can see. Right now, it's interesting. School of fish just ran by me. A ton of fish all around. Oh yeah, and a lot of starfish. There's starfish everywhere. And I'm over there someplace, hanging about on a beautiful day. Wow, is that bird ever noisy?
Looks like a school of Jack dropped by. Hey guys, how you doing? I don't know why you're here. We're not feeding you, but you know, welcome. What I am doing is less fun than playing with the fish. Our lines have started skipping across. You can see these sheaves have gotten, the edges are all rolled off, and so the line is skipping, and worse, it's jamming in between, which is just no good. So I'm going to put some washers in there to space these out so that the lines won't fit and that they'll be a little tighter together. And then hopefully we can use the dinghy davits again. It's the same thing on that side, so it's just a matter of an Allen key and a ratchet and a bunch of washers.
So, what are we doing today, Captain Dave? What are we doing today, Captain Dave?
Beaching. You're just sitting around beaching.
Why are we here by ourselves?
Well, because it's supposed to be a real windy day, so people aren't coming into the beaches and they're not looking at boats. We got really protected here.
I found the corner. I snuggled us into a corner. We've got like this behind us to protect us. So, but it's a pretty windy day. How windy is it?
Not that bad. It was supposed to be gusting 23 or gusting 25. It's only about 15 knots of wind. Regular.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
It's not bad.